Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I'm Nika and I make book related videos, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I got in the month of August and September. So I haven't filmed a sit down kind of video in quite some time, and I think the last book haul video I did was for July, and since then I've accumulated a few books, so I thought I would merge both the August and September book haul videos into one so that you get to see more and more books. And yeah, without further ado, I am gonna share with you all the books that I got in these 2 months. I actually have a list in front of me so that I also don't miss mentioning any of these books, because apart from the books that I read each month, I also keep a track of the new books that I get, and these new books can be books that I buy, books that I get as gifts, review copies, all of that. So in all, I do keep a record of all the books I acquire. So in August I got 5 new books, and they are, I'll start showing them to you in a second. So the first 3 books that I want to show you are actually gifts. The first one here is On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. This is a wonderful graphic novel series set in space, so it's very much sci-fi, and it's also kind of middle grade. It also has sexuality representations, various representations, and there's found family trope, girls in a boarding school, adventure, all of that, and I really liked it. We basically follow the main character as she goes on this intergalactic journey, restoring various intergalactic infrastructures and all of that, and in the meanwhile you get to see the backgrounds of the different characters in the book. So this one is quite good. Actually, I ended up reading it, and I'll probably share more about it with you in a wrap-up video, but for now I do want to say a big thank you to Shivani for gifting me this one. Moving on, we have 2 more gifts. The first one here is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Imezi, and this was a gift from my dear friends Prerna and Anjali. I'm very happy about getting this book as a gift, because this has been in my wish list for a long time, and those two have been very sneaky and got access to my book wish list and got me this book, and I'm really happy about it. A brief synopsis: it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Faye is about to be given the chance to escape the city's blistering heat for a dream island holiday, poolside cocktails, beach sunsets, and elaborate meals. And as the sun goes down on her old life, our heroine also might just be ready to open her heart to someone new. The only problem is she's falling for the one man she absolutely can't have. So I'm actually looking forward to reading it. It's also got a beautiful cover, so let's see what it's about. I do think there's like mentioned, the beach involved, kind of like a summer romance. There's also perhaps going to be discussions on race, maybe. So yeah, excited to read it. Moving on, I have another gift right here, which is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I have been seeing this book everywhere, and I really wanted to get it, and a dear friend of mine actually gifted this to me, and I'm really happy. So this book is basically set in it's fantasy. So it's set in a war college where the students learn to ride dragons, and they of course have different sorts of classes as well. So this was really interesting, and we follow our heroine. Her name is Violet, who for the longest time has actually been planning to go or join another kind of like group, but then suddenly she has been told by her mother to instead go and join the Dragon Riders group, their class. And for someone to prepare for something like that on such a short notice is of course not very easy, because compared to her there are other students who have trained for their whole lives to be Dragon Riders. So everything, it's amazing. It's got a bit of politics, there's some really good romance as well, there's the found family trope, the dragons are also well done, so it's really great. And I actually read it, as you can see. I'm excited for book 2, and it comes out on November 3rd, I think, so not a long time for me to wait. So that's that. Then I also got 2 more books in the month of August. The first one here is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now this is more or less the newer Emily Henry that's come out, and I think I've read this one as well. I have read this one as well, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's either first or second of books that I love by Emily Henry. The first one is about rivals. What was that? About the two rivals. Was it book lovers? I get confused so much, but yeah, I think that was book lovers, right? The two, one was the agent, one was the editor, that book. So I think that and these two kind of fight for the first place for me, for Emily Henry. But Harriet and Wynne are the perfect couple. They go together like bread and butter, gin and tonic. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Every year they take a holiday from their respective lives to drink far too much wine with their favorite people in the world. Except this year they are lying through their teeth because Harriet and Wynne broke up 6 months ago and they still haven't told anyone. But the cottage is for sale, so this is the last time they'll be all here together. They can't bear to break their best friends' hearts, so they'll fake it for 1 more week. But how can you pretend to be in love and get away with it in front of the people who know you best? So this is kind of like that, you know, they are exes, but to the rest of them, they are still in a relationship. They're kind of now pretending to be in a relationship for the world to see. There's this group of best friends, so it's like found family also kind of, and it's about growing up and dealing with expectations that perhaps you have for yourself, your family had for yourself, whether you meet them or not. All of that, this book explores it. And lastly, the other book that I got in August is Final Offer by Lauren Asher. Now this is book 3 of the Dreamland Billionaires, and I have read book 1 and 2, as you can see right here, fine print and terms and conditions, and so I got this one. This is about the youngest brother, I think, and his name is Callahan. I'm the Kane brother everyone gossips about behind closed doors. Trust fund brat, washed up athlete, high functioning alcoholic. No one knows the real me but her. Lana Castillo, my childhood best friend and the only woman I ever loved. When I broke her heart 6 years ago, I promised to never return to Lake Wisteria. I kept my word until my grandfather's will changed everything. To receive my inheritance, I was tasked with spending a summer at the family lake house before selling it. The request was simple in theory, until my entire plan blew up on the very first day. Turns out Lana just doesn't live at the house, but she claims to own it too. Alana. Falling in love with Callahan Kane was a mistake. He told me so before destroying my heart and our friendship 6 summers ago. When he promised never to come back, I foolishly believed him. But then Cal showed up again, intending to sell his grandfather's lake house. The biggest flaw in the plan, my name is on the deed. So this is it. And I'm actually excited to read it. I thought I would read it immediately when I bought it, because back then I was truly in the romance kick. I was reading all of these romances left and right, even these ones. So I was reading a lot of romance those days, but right now I am a bit past that. So maybe when I'll get back in the romance mood, this will be a book that I pick up. So those are all the 5 books that I got in the month of August. And now let's see. How many books did I get in September? I got 8 new books in September, and without further ado, let me show them to you. Let's first see the review copies and get them out of the way. So the first is The Blooming of a Lotus. This was a review copy that I got from LF Book Company, and this was pretty much my kind of first self-care kind of self-help book, or non-fiction book, you could say, because I'm generally, when it comes to non-fiction, I'm more into essays or sometimes, some very rare times, biographies. But self-help is not a genre that I generally read. But yeah, they reached out to me with this book, and I thought I would like to give it a try because it focuses more on meditation, on mindfulness and all of that. Even though it's a very thin book, it is very, very heavy. So there are different exercises in terms of breathing, in terms of mindfulness, and other sorts of meditation as well that you can carry out. And of course, this is not something you do very quickly. So I think I've reached exercise 5, yeah, and that's that. So I've taken a pause for now, but I'll obviously continue the exercises as time goes on, because of course this is all for the sake of your self and personal development, and that is something that we all want. So yeah, this is it. And then I also got a book from Juggernaut, and this is Perumal Murugan's Sandalwood, Soap and Other Stories. And like you can obviously make out, it's a collection of stories. These stories and many more, there are many stories. Let me just tell you. There are 12, no, not 12. There are 15 short stories in this book. So these 15 stories and many more are part of this unsettling, moving and grippingly told collection. Sandalwood, Soap and Other Stories is an extraordinary book from one of our greatest writers working at the height of his powers. So I think this is a really good book, and I've seen it around, and it's also been blurbed by the Business Standard, Indian Express, Washington Post, The Caravan and The Guardian, and the blurbs were quite good actually, and so I was excited to read it. I've read a bit of it, really liked it, and I would definitely recommend you this book. But yeah, this was the other review copy that I got in September. Moving on, I got another book as a review copy, and that is Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Mohanty, and by this time I have actually read it, and it was a really interesting book. If I have to use 2 words to describe it, I would say it is inspired from the Mahabharata, so Mahabharata inspired, and it is kind of a retelling in certain ways, but the author has taken some liberties with it, which has made the story entirely his own. So I'll share the synopsis from the back with you. Bled dry by violent confrontations with the Magadhan Empire, the Mathuran Republic simmers on the brink of oblivion. Senator Krishna and his third wife Satyabhama have put their plans in motion, both within and beyond the Republic's blood-soaked borders, to protect it from total annihilation. But they are soon to discover that neither gold nor alliances last forever, and that they are not the only players on the board. Mati, pirate princess of Kalinga, has decided to mend her ways and become a good wife, but all habits die hard, especially when one habitually uses murder to settle old scores. Brooding and beautiful Karna hopes to bury his brutal past, but finds the destinies miserly with second chances. Hero turned torturer Shakuni limps through a path of daggers. Meanwhile, his foes and woes multiply, leaving little time for vengeance. Their lives are about to become yet more difficult as a cast of sinister queens, naive kings, pious assassins, and ravenous priests are converging where the Son of Darkness is prophesied to rise, even as forgotten gods prepare to play their hands. So this is the book. It's a bit of a chunker, but I have to say that since I've read it, it's really interesting. The pacing is quite good, and there's a lot of background build, a lot of politics involved. So it might take you a bit of time to get really into the story, or not, let me rephrase that, not into the story, but to really understand who's who and remember the connections. But once you do, it's going to be amazing. You're gonna fly right through. I read it in under a week, I think 4-5 days, so it was quite good. Then moving on, I'll show you these 2 books. These are the Famous 5 series by Enid Blyton, which formed a staple in my childhood and my mother and her sisters and her brothers and her siblings' childhood as well. So basically, after when I was in class 6, I inherited my mum and her siblings' collection of books. So a huge collection of that, a huge portion of that collection was Enid Blyton's books. It was mostly the whole set of Famous 5, Secret 7. So I read the Famous 5 first, and I really loved it. And recently I was reading from, going over reading stuff, and I had the video which I'll share with you. I'll link it somewhere on the screen, and I decided to go back to a childhood favorite, and that's why I got these books. So I got this one first. This is book 1, 5 on a Treasure Island, and I love the art. It's very, very interesting, as you can see. And then I decided to also get the collective edition. So this is collection 1, and it contains the first 3 books. So the first 3 books are 5 on a Treasure Island, 5 Go Adventuring Again, and 5 Run Away Together. So this has all the 3 books, the first 3 books, and I've actually read book 1. I read book 1 from here. I did not pick up this one. I ended up reading this one, but yeah, it was a really good book, and we basically follow these 4 cousins and their dog as they go about adventuring, and it's really, really good. It's middle grade, of course, but for so many of us, it is such a crucial part of our childhood that I'm sure you guys are going to love. So yeah, if in one line I have to describe book 1 to you, that is 5 on a Treasure Island, it would be: it's a race against time as the 5 hurry to find Kirin Island's hidden treasure before trespassers can. So that was that. Then I got 3 other books which I have been really hoping to read. The first one here is Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These. I have seen this book a lot on Instagram, and as you can see, when I was dealing with a reading slump, this small size book felt like a perfect book that I could pick up, and so I did. It is 1985 in an Irish town. During the weeks leading up to Christmas, Bill Furlong, a coal and timber merchant, faces his busiest season. As he goes around the houses making deliveries, he feels the past rising up to meet him and encounters the complicit silence of a small community controlled by the church. So I've heard that it's a very good book. I've read only good reviews so far, and I'm really excited to read it. Then I also got Days at the Morisaki bookshop. Again, this is another book that's been doing the rounds on Instagram lately, and I have been really intrigued from the very beginning. It is by Satoshi Yagisawa, and it has been translated from the Japanese by Eric Ozawa. So Hidden in Jimbocho, Tokyo is a book lover's paradise. On a quiet corner in an old wooden building lies a shop filled with hundreds of second-hand books. 25-year-old Takako has never liked reading, although the Morisaki bookshop has been in her family for 3 generations. It is the pride and joy of her uncle Satoru, who has devoted his life to the bookshop since his wife Momoko left him 5 years earlier. When Takako's boyfriend reveals he's marrying someone else, she reluctantly accepts her eccentric uncle's offer to live rent-free in the tiny room above the shop. Hoping to nurse her broken heart in peace, Takako is surprised to encounter new worlds within the stacks of books lining the Morisaki bookshop. As summer fades to autumn, Satoru and Takako discover they have more in common than they first thought. The Morisaki bookshop has something to teach them both about life, love, and the healing power of books. So if you are a book lover, I think this is the perfect book for you. Moving on to the last book of this book haul, the last book that I got in September. It is Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, and it has been translated by Anton Hoare. So here's the synopsis. Cursed Bunny is a genre-defined collection of short stories by Korean author Bora Chung. Blurring the lines between magical realism, horror, and science fiction, Chung uses elements of the fantastic and surreal to address the very real horrors and cruelties of patriarchy and capitalism in modern society. Anton Hoare's translation skillfully captures the way Chung's prose effortlessly glides from being terrifying to wryly humorous. Winner of a PEN grant. So yeah, I've read. It's very weird and kind of messy, and it's exactly like Bunny. I've seen it compared a lot of times to Bunny, and you know, I love this book, so I thought, why not give it a try? So yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to read it. There's this bit at the back. His bewildered wife called for help, and a group of nurses rushed in and tried to restrain him. The man resisted, shouting something incomprehensible about bunnies. We see bunnies here also. This is a side. And the cover also has a bunny. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked the books in the haul, and if you have read any of these, let me know what you think. If any of these are on your TBR, also do let me know, and if I haven't read the book, then we surely can do a kind of a buddy reading, because I haven't done a buddy reading in quite some time, and I think I would really love to do that very soon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again very soon. Until then, take care, peace out, bye.